Dear friends, warm welcome to one and all to this 10-day national level online multidisciplinary short-term course on MOOCs, creation of e-content and OERS organized by Government First Grade College, KR Puram, Bangalore, Department of Collegiate Education, Government of Karnataka. I am Dr. Girish Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Benares Hindu University, Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. I am thankful to the beloved principal of KR Puram Bangalore College and the entire organizing team of this short-term program for giving me a platform to share my thoughts. The topic of my presentation is OER initiatives in India to empower the education system. As we all know, education is recognized as fundamental human right. However, many people throughout the world do not have access to important educational opportunities. Further, the advent of information and communication technology has revolutionized the process of teaching, learning, and research process. The current generation is deeply affected by technology and are going to push towards a positive evolution that could power the next generation of education technology. The paradigm shift from conventional mode to digital has turned the information creation and the organization and diffusion into a rapid process. The enormous amount of information created is organized but locked for those who do not have a paid subscription and educational activities. The cost and access to course material are the two major issues normally emerge as a concern in the education scenario. The quality of output is undoubtedly depend on the quality of input. The information sources that our library and information centers provide access to become the deciding factor of the quality output. The information disparity is widening the information gap, so the concept of open source and open access evolved. Unlike the conventional methods, the mode of teaching and learning process in such open access environment enabled an aspirant to swiftly complete a course. So now the concept of open is everywhere. The word open, broadly speaking, means to be flexible. The philosophy behind the concept of open is to share the resources for free, duplication prevention, and to provide easy access to the stakeholders. So it allows learners to access and participate in education regardless of their physical and geographical location, but provided they have a mechanism to connect to the resources. Further, it avoids restrictive policies like copyright to a material along with the promotion of economic efficiencies. Let us see open movements. So look at this representation where all the concepts are prefixed with the term open, which simply means the user has freedom to access it. So with the advent of computer technology and the internet during the beginning of 1980s, the concept of open movement emerged to facilitate access to different kinds of materials, information, and the technological codes for free. So these are the open movements emerged during the years to share freely the educational materials, software, online access to scholarly communication, and research data, etc. The only difference in these open movements are in their purpose, nature of resources, and the license through which they are made accessible to the public. Let us see some of the open attributes. So let us quickly see some of the attributes to the term open and how these movements are different from one another, so that the concept of OER will be clear to you. So first one is open access. This is nothing but sharing contents usually of scholarly in nature without a requirement of the use of an open license. But if you see open courseware, sharing open content that is developed specifically to instruct a particular course. And open source software is nothing but the source code of the software will be available to the public, so that the user can download, install, customize, and even redistribute to the modified one without any restrictions. And open education is another term which encompasses resources, tools, and practices that employ a framework of open sharing to improve educational access and effectiveness worldwide. So then come to OER. OER is an extended part of open education. So that was officially adopted to describe open content used for educational purpose such as teaching, learning, research, and other purposes. Let us see what is OER. The term OER was first announced in the year 2002 in UNESCO Forum on Impact of Open Courseware for Higher Education in Developing Countries. OER freely accessible open contents available in the public domain to access them without any restrictions, generally through a common portal or gateway. So it is an educational content that is shared under open license. OER can be seen as a social innovation rather than a technological innovation, and it has the potential to reforms the education rather than revolutionizing the education. So it is a fact that OER platforms fostering teachers' collaboration and their professional developments and significantly improve the quality of resources produced by them and also support the learners in their learning process. So OER make education more affordable, accessible and effective, providing free access to learning to as many people as possible. So and then we will come to OER definitions. So there are many standard definitions for OER given by UNESCO and others. So you can read it from the slide. So ultimately OER are any type of educational materials that are in the public domain or introduced with an open license. And even OER ranges from textbook to curricula, syllabi, lecture notes, assignments, tests, even projects, audio, video and animation, etc. These are the definitions given by UNESCO and other things. So let us just skip these slides. Let us now see some of the additional features of OER. OER has the potency to equalize the education and making the educational materials affordable and accessible to the aspirants and improve their learning outcomes. Cost of prescribed course material becomes a significant drawback for the aspirants, especially students who intend to pursue their educational process. So OER provides better opportunities for the students to expand the horizon of their classroom beyond the specific study materials to facilitate different educational materials. And OER is one of those mechanisms which run together to achieve the open technology movement and open access movement. So they are generally available without any copyright restrictions. So however, materials can also be available under open licenses. And OER normally it is free to copy, use, adapt and reshare without any legal issues. The scope of OER ranges from full courses to course materials. We have already seen the slide, which comprises of modules, lecture materials, experiments, tests, even demonstration, as well as syllabuses, teachers, guide, textbooks, streaming videos, software, any other tools, materials or techniques to support access to knowledge. And OER are teaching, learning and research material that are in the public domain or licensed in a manner that provide everyone with free and perpetual permission to engage in the 5R activities. According to Wiley, this education resources, to quantify it as open, it must comply with the what we known as 5 R's of OER, such as retain, reuse, revise, remix and redistribute, which is diagrammatically represented here. There are 5 R's of, that means if you wanted to make a OER which is eligible as a OER, all these 5 R's should be completed. Then let us see some of the benefits of OER. And now let us see what the benefits of having OER are. So OER are highly cost effective as they facilitate group learning, individual learning on interactive medium in a multimedia environment. So resources are globally available, hence does not restrict access based on geographic, education and socio-economic background, hence adoption enhances access to resources. It possesses great deal of flexibility in as it runs according to the learner's lifetime, timeline and also learning requirement. So also it provides more authenticity to the content as it is open to every individual learners and experts. So learning process is mostly user driven as consumer here often becomes prosumer. So endless opportunities to collaborate with every individual to bring in the most updated information in the field, and this facilitates the worldwide confluence of perspectives on a given topic. And it is ready to access, easy to share and can be preserved forever. It acts as an additional resource for learning, and the movement towards OER has stimulated innovations in teaching and learning practices. It also enhances quality of materials through peer review, user feedback and adapting and modifying the resources. So it encourages engagements and facilitate better skill developments. And let us see some of the challenges of OER. It requires basic infrastructural requirements such as computer with an internet connection and communication accessories. Inconsistency in quality control appears as there can be many providers and no adequate screening of content, and even lack of well-defined policy for checking the quality of resources available in OER also one of the problems. In November 2019, the 40th UNESCO General Conference adopted the UNESCO OER recommendation, which is the only international standard setting framework in this area worldwide. So, and the cost involved in maintenance of technical aspects of the system and vulnerability to breakdown and malware, these are all the problem. And the faster the obsolescence of technology, the huger the squander of efforts, resources, and time. So often learning comes free, but not the supporting materials, which may be copyright protected also. Tailoring emerging trends and updating of audio-visual contents accordingly becomes a Herculean task. And it involves minimum cost, expertise, and willingness to contribute, which may hinder the scalability, sustainability, and the larger accessibility. And the lack of awareness of open licenses among others and creators. And usage of OER in teaching and learning environment has not been studied exclusively. And let us see the discoverability. Now, how do we identify these open education resources? There are different methods where we can get access to OER, and following are some of the platforms exclusively for searching of OER materials. You can make a general Google search, but you need to have an option to select that usage rights as free to use, share, or modify in the Google Advanced Search option. And then OER Commons, Creative Commons Search Tool, and Directory of Open Education Resources. There are many which are listed here. And let us come to the real topic, which is OER Indian initiatives. So if you examine the history, India embraced OER by the year 2007 with the support from government and external funding agencies, as National Knowledge Commission called for a national e-content and curriculum initiative recommending increasing amount of OER and open access. So in India, impacts of OER are highly recognized by the government, schools, research institutions, and the institutions in higher education sector. To bridge the learning divide and the growth of OER are incremental. And there are several open access initiatives in India which are highly contributed to the creation, utilization, expansion of OER in India. So, however, the foundation stone for government policies on OER are the National Policy of ICT in School Education 2012 and the IT at School scheme. So through these policies, the government of India has encouraged collaborative creation and widespread dissemination of learning resources. So if you see the Indian scenario, where many institutions have created their own OER portals to provide free access to their educational resources, either individually or with the support of government. So OER developed can be hosted online using different platforms such as website, institution repositories, etc. So then emergence of OER. So there are different OERs are formed with different objectives and to serve different categories of learners. So based on the scope and purpose of the resources made available, OERs can be categorized as a resource meant for school level up to K-12, then for undergraduate or for the postgraduate, and also lifelong learners. And even based on the media in which it is available, quality of contents, licensing, authorship, presentation and nature or format, OER can be further categorized, which is shown in this figure. You can see one by one. And then we will go to the emergence of OER. There are other different categories of OER based on their nature of origin, purpose, or as found in collection or repositories of a single institution, or even collection of materials gathered from institution or individual, etc. And some of the OER initiatives are institution based and some are institution support initiatives. There are divisions like OER for formal learning, informal learning, emerged as part of Digital Library Initiative or Open Course Initiative or even Open Access Journal Initiative, Institution Repository, etc. So let us see some of the major initiatives in details, because there are many more, even hundreds of OER. We will see some of the major initiatives. As we have already seen that OERs are created for different levels of education such as school level, graduate level and as part of lifelong learning. Let us first see some of the major initiatives of OER developed for school levels. The first one is NROER. it is expanded as National Repository of Open Educational Resources. It is a collaborative initiative of Ministry of Human Resource Development, Central Institute of Educational Technology, and the Educational Technology Unit at National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCRT. So it was launched in the year 2013. It is OER mapped to school curriculum at the levels primary, upper primary, secondary, senior secondary, and even tertiary. So it hosts large number of educational resources in many subjects and in different Indian languages, which contains resources in different formats such as documents, audio, video, interactive media, etc. And also it includes NCRT books. And contents on the repository is released under the Creative Commons license. And the educational resources available in the NROER repositories can be used by the public without taking any permission from NCRT. And the next, this is the front page of NROER. You can see if you just browse through your Google. And the next one is ePathshala. It is an initiative of National Council of Education Research and Training, a storehouse of audio, video, e-textbooks and other e-publications, including flipbooks, etc. And even resources are available in multiple languages, for example Hindi, English and Urdu. And as of now, it has total of 3,886 electronic resources in its collection, and even it can be downloaded in mobile devices as apps and use it. And you can see more details at epathshala.nic.in. And the next one we are going to discuss about is, before that, this is the front page of ePathshala. And the next one is NIOS OER, and this is the ePathshala analytics. And the next slide is there are different other types of OER at school levels. We will see one by one. The one is NIOS OER. It is expanded as a National Institute of Open Schooling, and this OER especially for vocational programs offered at secondary and senior secondary, that means +2 levels. The project is carried out in partnership with state level institution and organization. It is available resources are categorized under major headings such as information and communication, technology, and there are many such areas. And the next one is Karnataka Open Educational Resources, it is a collaborative platform of teachers and educations working. Karnataka Open Education Resources, it is a collaborative platform of teachers and teacher educators working in Karnataka. OER contains textbooks, videos and interactive licensed under Creative Commons, and it covers all subjects in the state syllabus from class 1 to 12. And more details can be seen from this website. And the next one is Khan Academy. It is a non-profit educational organization created in 2005 by Salman Khan with the goal of creating a set of online tools that help educate students. The organization produces short lessons in the form of YouTube videos, and its website also includes supplementary practices, exercise and materials for educators. And the next one is IT at School. It is an initiative of Government of Kerala and which support education of school. Then the next one is OER for that means expanded as Open Education Resources for School. It is an initiative of Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, which aiming at offering quality school education for all. And the next one is OER for graduation levels, which continues. Let us see some of the major OER initiatives even for the school levels. That is TESS India. It is a teacher education through school-based support in India, and it is led by the Open University and it Save the Children India, funded by UK, and a multilingual teacher professional development program. It has over 200 Indian education experts to be contributed, and more details can be seen from this website. And the next one is Guru, which is a collaborative venture, and it is also established in the year 1993, a free personalized learning solution. The more details can be get from the website. And the other major initiative is Diksha. It's a digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. So this is an initiative of National Council of Educational Research and Training, that is NCRT, and resources in multiple languages, either in English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Urdu, whichever you can browse, and resources for school from the level 1 to 12, and this more details can be have from this address. And now let us see some of the major OER initiative aiming the resources creation for graduate level learners. The first one is NPTEL. National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. It is an open courseware program to enhance the quality of engineering education in the country by developing curriculum-based video and web courses with a supplementary content for science and humanities. And it is an initiative of under the National Mission on Education through Information and Communication Technology. And it is one of the most popular MOOC program provider initiated by experts from 7 Indian Institute of Technologies like Bombay, Delhi, Kanpur, Madras, Guwahati, Kharagpur and Roorkee in association with Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. And it has a collection of 735 courses in web or video format which has been provided in different branches of engineering and physical science, management science. And indexing of content and keyword search developed for better accessibility. And today it seems to be one of the major Indian OER at undergraduate and postgraduate levels, and even you can have more details from their website. And the next one is eGyan-Ghosh. And before that, this is the front page of NPTEL. The next one is eGyan-Ghosh. It is Indira Gandhi National Open University launched its eGyan-Ghosh initiative in 2006 to store, index, preserve, distribute and share the digital learning resources developed by them. The initiative has emerged as one of the world's largest educational resources repository, under which over 95% of the self-instructional print materials of IGNOU are now available in digital format. And IGNOU is also the first open university in the world to adopt the OER policy license. And it has a YouTube channel with a metadata link in its repository. And more than 40,000 self-learning print resources and over 1800 videos are available in this repository. And this is the front page while you are accessing that particular page. Then the next one is EPG Pathshala. This is an initiative of MHRD under the NMEA ICT being executed by the UGC. It is launched by 2015 and gateway for OER up to the postgraduate level. And it is a curriculum based content, host educational resources for teachers, students, parents and even educators. And you can see the front page. And the next one is Virtual Lab. Initiative of MHRD under the aegis of NMEA ICT. It provides remote access to labs in various disciplines of science and engineering. And even it is a gateway for OER up to postgraduate level. It consists of various tools for learning, video lectures, animated demonstration and self-evaluation. Share costly equipments and resources for free of cost. And this is the first page while accessing Virtual Lab. And let us see OER in graduate level more. There are many more like NSDL. This is National Science Digital Library. It is an initiative of CSIR and resources on STEM discipline. That means science, technology, engineering, and it contains all types of resources. And it is a supplementary curriculum based contents. And the next one is Consortium for Educational Communication, that is CEC. It is an initiative of UGC, a syllabus based topic delivered through TV programs, and even it contains learning objects and digital video repositories. Subject like science and technology, management, vocational, social science and arts and culture, etc. And you can see more details from the website. And then Gyana Nagar. It is a contribution of Odisha State Open University, which are OER, which are licensed under Creative Commons. It contains audio, video, text, and even documents also. And more details can be seen from the website. And apart from this, there are many other government initiatives for supporting OER, like Sakshat, Swayam, even Consortia for Educational Communications, National Digital Library of India, and Kala Sambada Digital Repository, even Shodh Ganga, Ekalavya, eGrid, Vigyan Prasar. All these initiatives are supporting one or other way to make OER maximum accessible to the users. And Nishta Online, you can see from this particular site. This is the web page for that. And OER and digital initiative, there are many other digital initiatives which holds OER, like CSIR Explosions. This is a OER repository of Indian thesis, and Cultural Heritage Digital Library in India, Digital Library of India, and National Digital Library of India, etc. These are some of the major digital library initiatives. And let us conclude. OER has the potential to grow, develop, utilize, and access the most recent and newest information right at the faculty and students' fingertips. And OER made education extensively accessible and instantly available to all. And OER offers normally it offers opportunity for sustainable growth in improving the access and quality of education by enabling free and repurposing of high caliber learning materials. It increasing amount of OER can play a big role in providing students and teachers improved access to quality educational resources and encouraging them in a constructive approach to learning. So OER has promise of meeting huge challenges facing education industry in India. So thank you all the participants and organizing team. Have a nice day. Thank you.